What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Horror Fiend. I'm Jeff,
I'm Bethany.
and with us today is the oh so awesome Miss Sandy Johnson. And Sandy, thank you for being a part of our show.
You're so welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
For those of you who live under a rock and do not know who Sandy Johnson is, one, I'm going to smack every one of you because this glorious woman is Judith Myers from the original Halloween series. And not only is she Judith Myers, she has the honor, the very rare honor, of being the very first kill of Michael Myers. So, kind of a big deal, especially if you all know me and you know my love for Halloween. Some think it's an unnatural love, but nonetheless. So, the first question I want to ask you, Sandy, I ask it to everybody who comes on. How are you guys doing during this incredibly crazy time that we are currently living in?
Wow. Well, it's been lonely, separated from my family. My sister is older than I am, so I've been very careful. We went camping one time and kept our distance, but we really kind of stayed away from family just to stay safe. So that's been kind of sad. Luckily, our area hasn't been too bad with cases of COVID, but all the acting stuff is pretty much shut down, and all the cons, of course, shut down. So my year has been sad. I missed being with the fans, of course. So I'm ready for this year to go away.
Completely agree with you on that. It seems to be the same story. Like everybody's been saying the same thing pretty much. The guy we last interviewed, David, he's been having more of a positive outlook, which surprised me. I mean, they're still filming Terrifier, but it's been the same. Like everybody's been saying the same thing, especially when it comes to the horror conventions and all that. Because like we always say, it's like a big family when we go to those, and we love it. And just the fact that we're unable to do it this year because of all this stuff really sucks. And
Mostly just staying home, mostly being alone. It's very isolating. It's very tiring.
Yeah, it is. I did get a nice surprise though. The Mahoning Drive-In in Pennsylvania wants me to come on Halloween for the screening of Halloween there. So I do get to see fans some this year, so I'm excited about that.
That's really exciting. And then from what I've been seeing too, like you've been going around a little bit. You've been like I don't want to necessarily say traveling, but like I've seen your post about like the Myers house and all of that. Like I love those posts. Every time I see it, it's like, oh man, it's like one thing that I haven't done yet that I'm kind of like kicking myself for not doing is like going to the Myers house and like all those iconic spots. And it seems like you've been making really good use of this time, which is really awesome.
Yeah, we bought an RV last year, so we decided that since we couldn't really be with family or we couldn't do cons, and an RV is kind of isolating in itself, social distancing. So we went on a 3-week trip from Texas up through North Carolina and did the Myers house, and then to Florida and to the beach and back to the south and back home. So we just took advantage of the safety of the RV, and it was great. We had a good time.
That's fun.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm sure everybody's heard by now about what's happened in Texas and Louisiana with that hurricane. Are you guys safe from all that? Because I know you live in Texas. You guys are away from all that disaster, right?
Yes, we live in North Central, and luckily it made a curve. Not lucky for Louisiana, but lucky for us. It curved around and went up. The only scary thing for us is my niece lives very close to the border of Texas and Louisiana, so they lost power and a little bit of damage, but I was very grateful because nothing bad really happened. So that was good.
That's good to hear. I am very thankful to hear that. I feel like I'm taking all the questions. Beth, go ahead and ask something. I feel bad. I'm all excited. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I was gonna let you do your thing. He's huge Halloween fan. So huge. So I was just gonna let you do your thing, have fun. So he'll be like happy. But what my questions are about conventions, because I know your first convention was the H40, correct? And that was your very first time going in. So when you went into that, what was it extremely different than what you may have thought it would be?
Well, I had never actually even seen a horror convention. So I had no idea what it was going to be like. I really didn't know what horror fans were like. So when I went there, I had no idea who I was going to see, what it was going to be like. And so I just kind of went in with an open, clueless mind, and it was amazing. I had the best time. We got in there and they opened the doors, of course, and like within 5 minutes, I had like hundreds of people in my line. And I was going, oh my gosh, look at all these people. And they were so nice to me, so kind. And I was just like overwhelmed with the love that all these people were giving me. So yeah, I mean, I was addicted right away. I was so happy to talk with everybody, and they were so nice and fun and enthusiastic, and they brought me all this cool stuff to sign. And it was just, yeah, it was a really great day.
I have something to get signed. I over Spirit Halloween actually has a Judith Myers thing right now, and it's really awesome. It's the actual tombstone. And,
Cool.
yeah, I bought it because I was like, I know I'm going to be talking with you. I want to show it off just because it's pretty cool, you know. I wish I had a tombstone with my name on it, but I won't have it until I'm dead. Um, so one of the questions that I had for you, Sandy, was so how did you come by the role of Judith Myers in Halloween back in '78? Can you walk us through that process?
Yeah. I was with the Playboy agency, and I was going out on lots of interviews, modeling interviews, movie interviews, and Halloween was just another one of those um, um, interviews, where they just called, and in particular, they wanted someone who wasn't afraid to do nudity, who was comfortable with that. And since I had done Playboy, I was fine with it. So that was the first thing they were looking for, because obviously Judith Myers is naked. So I went on the interview and I read several parts. I don't exactly remember which one. I just remember reading several parts. And they did have me scream, which was kind of weird because they weren't interviewing me at a studio. It was actually in a house. I'm thinking probably one of the houses from Halloween. Um, and so that was kind of weird. I kept thinking, what are the neighbors going to think? So I left the interview having no idea. There were several people at the table interviewing me. And then of course, I thanked him and left. And I don't know, the next day or the day after, the agency called me and said that I had been cast as Judith Myers. So that was a good day.
That's awesome.
Were there any, when you started filming, did you have any complications in the roles or anything that was a little more challenging happen on set?
I'd say the most challenging things with the shooting of it were the tightness of the quarters. I think the house was built in like the 1800s. So the rooms were small and there was a lot of equipment and a lot of people to get in each room. And of course, it was a moving scene, so we weren't just in one place. So to get everybody moving and to keep all the stuff out of the view of the camera that didn't need to be there I would say the logistics of it was probably the most complicated. And then from my perspective, upstairs, getting the blood pellets to burst at the right time and falling from the chair onto the floor without hurting myself, but yet looking like, like that's just what happened. So I guess that was the most unusual stuff.
And how was it working with John Carpenter? Because I know, like, I've heard so many stories that he's kind of like a bit of a tight ass. Which, and I tell you, it's like he's not a tight ass. He's just very blunt. Like he's very, like he knows what he wants, how he wants it. And so, how was it working with someone like John Carpenter?
Right. It was great. I mean, he was, I'm okay with blunt. It helps sometimes actually because they get the point across right away and you're not wasting a lot of time waiting for them to get to the point. So, yeah, he was very clear, as was Deborah Hill. They both kind of had a unified vision of what they wanted, and they actually, demonstrated a couple times of how they wanted the scene to go and the feel they wanted it to have. So, yeah, I had no problem working with him. I thought he was a good director and very clear about what he wanted.
That's great. I love it. I love it. While you were filming, while you were doing your takes and all that for the scene, did you get to meet like Nick Castle and Jamie Lee Curtis and all that during your time there while you were doing your recordings and all that?
I did meet Jamie Lee Curtis. She was actually in the trailer with me, helping me get ready and stuff. So yes, I did meet her, and she was very nice. And the funny thing is, when I went in for that, I never saw any of the other movie, and I never really saw the whole script. So I really wasn't knowledgeable about Michael or any of that stuff. So I wasn't looking for anyone in particular. So he may very well have been there and I wouldn't even have noticed because he probably just looked like the rest of the crew to me. I was just concerned about my lines and the people in it with me and doing what I was told. So I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention. I mean, I knew that Jamie Lee was in it and she was in there helping me, but as far as I knew, everybody could have been there and I wouldn't have known because I hadn't seen any of the takes or anything.
Speaking of takes, how many takes would you say, if you could like just throw out a number, how many takes do you think it took you to get that scene down? And then how far along? Because I know when people are filming, sometimes they do like the end of the movie first and then the beginning of the movie in the middle. So around when you were doing your recording, how many takes did it take? And then around what time frame do you think? Was it like near the end of filming, near the middle of filming?
According to the lady, I can't remember her name, but the lady that did a lot of the photography on the set, she told me that there were 2 takes. So that sounds about right because I don't remember doing a lot of takes. And I was grateful because those blood pellets were hard to wash off and it was not comfortable. So I was glad we didn't have to do a whole lot of them. The timing of when we shot my scene was based on the house. Because the house was old and decrepit, they shot everything where it's old and decrepit first. And then for my scene, of course, it was all like new, like people living in it, not decrepit. So they shot my scene near the end. So actually the first scene was shot near the end.
That's awesome. I always love like learning things about that, especially when it comes to like my favorite movies. I love learning the behind the scenes stuff, or like we see them on DVD behind the scenes, but like actually speaking to somebody who was there, a part of it, is it's really cool to just hear about. Like this is the kind of stuff that I nerd out on. I feel. um, and then that's impressive. The only 2 takes, like that's That's good. Like I always hear about people taking like multiple takes to get it down, and like she's just like boom, within two, done and done. That's impressive.
That's that is really pretty impressive because the way that I mean, the scene started at the street.
Yeah.
So to come all the way up around the house, through the kitchen, pick up the knife, and then the stuff in the living room and go all the way upstairs. I mean, there's a lot. That's a very long take. And for everybody to get it done correctly in just 2 takes is pretty amazing.
Yeah, that to this day in any not just like any Halloween movie, but in any movie that whole tracking shot from the street up the stairs to your room, that whole thing, that is one of my favorite shots in a movie. Just it's from an artistic standpoint, it's like just a beautifully well done shot, and I love it. And like that's it's again, it's awesome to hear. Like just picturing that whole thing within only 2 takes is just like that's impressive. Like Jesus. Um, and then, so I don't know if most people know, but you were in the 2018 remake of Halloween as well. Not the remake, but the extension, because they do use you. They use the video from the original in there, which is awesome because I mean it's always nice seeing it. I like the tributes and all of that. So that's something else that's really cool. Did they come to you for that, or did they just because I it's the studio, so I'm assuming they're just like, okay, throw it in there. But did they actually come to you, speak to you about it?
Yeah, actually, they had to come to me because in order to use it, they had to have my permission.
Right.
And it's kind of weird is that when my now agent actually found me and was talking to me, he said, that Halloween 2018 is just wrapping up. He said, there's only a week or so left before it's a wrap. And he said, they've been looking for you and really wanted to use that scene in the graveyard, but they can't do it without your signature.
Mm-hmm.
So they had them get a hold of me, and I agreed, to sign off on it. But if it had been another week or so until he found me, I wouldn't have been in it because they would have been finished. So I got in just in the nick of time.
I'm happy they found you because I mean, as it's it wouldn't be the same in my opinion. Like they bring back Nick Castle, Jamie Lee Curtis. They even bring back Carpenter, and so having you in there, it just like in my opinion, it kind of like completes that circle. And then like with the next one, I hope they get you in there somehow. Like even if it's more flashbacks, I would still love to see it because now that it's postponed until next year, like having everybody else that's going to be in it that was from the original too. Like it's just like please make it happen somehow. Like don't go the Rob Zombie route with the ghost of Christmas past thing, but
Right.
like I think it would be really cool to somehow get you in there again. And even the Dukes, I know they brought back. I believe it was they brought back PJ Souls in 2018. Like she was a different character. She wasn't her original character. She was a different character. And so even if they would do something like that, like have you in there like as a cameo of just like even if you're like a school teacher or something like that, I think that would be really awesome just to get you in there and have you a part of that family because that's what you are. You're a part of the Halloween family. And so hopefully if anybody sees this, do it. Get her in there. Make it happen. Um,
Yeah. My agent did get a hold of them and talk to them about it. They weren't interested for Halloween Kills, so I'm still hoping that maybe on Halloween Ends they'll do something because I would love to do a cameo. And I did talk to James Jude Courtney and Nick Castle about the possibility, and they both like the idea. So we'll see. It'd be nice. I'd love it.
I'm hoping I will definitely push for it. I will yell at people if I have to. I will throw a fit on video. That's not pretty, but I'll do it. Uh, and the only other question that I can think of right now at this particular moment, I want Beth to ask because she's been getting good at asking this question, and I'm curious to hear the answer. So Beth, please.
So, what is your favorite scary movie?
Well, my very favorite, of course, is Halloween. It, I mean, it's so great in so many ways that I find it hard to find anything that wipes it away from the first place position. But I do love Scream,
Screams all.
and yeah, and of the older ones, I love The Shining and I love Psycho.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah, both of those are
Favorites.
great. I think you're the first one that we've had so far that actually mentioned like Shining and Psycho, because normally everybody says Exorcist. And
Yeah,
so
Exorcist has been a top ones, but yeah, Shining and Psycho, those are good.
those
Shining
are
was one of the first films when I was younger that just scared the crap out of me, which is why I love it so much now. But it is, it's a really good choice. And then Psycho, that one's always fun. It kind of
right.
starts
Yeah,
everything.
In its
yeah,
own
those
right.
all.
Um, I honestly think that I agree with what she said. Halloween's the best. Like I the big thing about it, and like everybody, like I've said it, like if there's a Mount Rushmore of slashers, the first face chiseled on there is going to be, Michael Myers. It's going to be Halloween. It's in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, it's what started, like really started the slasher flick, the way that they did it, and just the way John Carpenter did it, the way Deborah Hill, like the way they envisioned it, and the way that movie came out on the budget that it came out on is it's phenomenal. It holds up to this day as just the movie when it comes to slashers. That's like the mecca. It's like here's Halloween all the way up here, and then everything else is about right here. Like there's
Right.
a lot of space right there. That's just like nah, we're untouchable. And like we got the nightmares and the Friday the 13th and the Texas chainsaws and Screams. Like Scream's amazing, especially like for my generation. Scream is what brought back the slasher film. It was a dying breed, and Scream came back full force and made it what it is. So Scream's definitely on there as well. Um, but yeah, just Halloween is, and I'm not saying it because you're in it, but because we're talking with you. Like, look at the videos. Like, for me, Halloween is just like, it can't be touched. It cannot be touched with what it did. It's phenomenal. And I thank you for being a part of it. I thank John Carpenter for making the damn thing. It's like a big part of my life. um, and I thank
Dude,
you
you
for
are so geeking out right
I
now.
know, and I swore I wasn't gonna do it. Everybody's gonna see me doing this. I didn't even do it with David, and I'm like, oh God, here we go. But it's because it's Halloween. Like I can't help it. Like I look at her, I look at Sandy the same way I look at Nick Castle, the same way I look at freaking Jamie Lee Curtis, the rest of them. It's like they're all like the reason why my childhood was so freaking awesome is because of that movie. The reason why I'm doing this YouTube is because of Halloween. So yeah, I'm a
Right.
little excited, just a little.
So how old were you when you first saw it?
Oh man, I think I was like 5 is what I can remember,
Isn't that
and
interesting?
and I'm
So
35 right
many,
now.
so many fans give me an age that's under 8.
Yeah,
It's just so amazing.
it's back then. Like my mom didn't care. She was like, "Hey, you're gonna experience it one way or another. So here you go. Just plop me in front of it." And it scared me. Like that's one of those movies because, like Freddy Krueger, it's some dream demon, or Jason's like this zombie with mommy issues. But when it comes to Halloween, there was the original Halloween. There was no backstory about it. It was just Michael one day just snaps, and he kills his sister, and then next thing you know, he breaks free and he's going on a killing spree. Not supernatural. He's not, no motive that we know. He's just going out and killing people, and that was always the thing that frightened me was the fact that like this is very real. Like something like that could and has happened. When it comes to dream demons and all that other stuff, not so much. But that's
Right.
why Halloween has always like scared the crap out of me. Even like to this day, I watch it sometimes and I gotta lock my doors. I gotta make sure my windows are closed. I'm like, nope, But that's why I love it so much. Like it's so different from everything else. You know, like we love Nightmare on Elm Street and we love Friday the 13th and Hellraisers and all those other things. And the only other movie that I can think of that even comes close to Halloween is Scream, because Scream was a very similar thing. You know, it's not a supernatural guy. It's
Right.
just, you know, I mean, he had motives, but it was just around that same ballpark. And that's why I'm actually really happy with 2018. And that's why I'm happy with the new movies, because they said from two onward, no. Like they're not related, you know, he's not related to Laurie. None of that stuff exists. It's just, you know, he went out on a killing spree. He went trick or treating. And that's how it should be. You know, I like that. I just like that mystique about it. I like that it's just really real and raw and like in your face, and like the themes and everything. It's uh,
See, huge fan, huge fan.
I am. But with that said, Sandy, again, I wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, not just for Judith Myers, but just for being you. You're an awesome individual, and agreeing to be on our tiny little show. I really do appreciate it. It means the world to me. Um, Definitely look forward to having you again sometime in the future if you have it. I am definitely going to push for you to get into those other Halloween movies. I said there's still time. There's still time to get you in kills and in ends. So I will, like I said, I will whine. I will throw a tantrum on screen and send it to them. Like anything that I have to do. Um, but again, yes, thank you. I appreciate it. The fans appreciate it. The fans appreciate you. Um, and
And
yeah,
we get to look forward to seeing you at some of the conventions when they come back.
Texas Frightmare Weekend. I have.
Yeah, that one I went. I was there last year.
You were there last year if I remember correctly.
Right.
Yeah, because I know James Jude Courtney was there. I know Nick Castle was there, and then you were there. You weren't next to him though. That was bothering me because like I hit all of them, and I was trying to find you. I was like, "Where's Sandy?" Like, I see everybody else. I knew where Elvira was, and I was just like, "What's going on?" But you definitely like if you could get there again. Like I'll talk to Lloyd. Lloyd's a buddy of mine, so I'd love to see you there again. I actually drew a really cool picture of you as Judith. It's not near me. I was gonna show it on the video, but I completely forgot to grab it. But I will definitely get that to you. I drew it for you. Like I wanted to make sure that I presented it to you and gave it to you. So
Yeah,
but
we'll
yeah,
talk to a friend because I live pretty close to Dallas, so I'd love to go again.
yes, definitely. I will plot. um, but there you have it, guys. You just saw me nerd out like a little kid in a candy store. Not like yeah, I don't care. I rarely get to do this, so I'm okay with nerding out. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Sandy, for being on. For the Horror Fiend, as always, I am Jeff.
I'm Bethany.
We will talk to you guys later. Peace.